that stuff together under one roof? Doesn't it make government more efficient?
And that's exactly, so Trump actually signed an executive order, and he talked about it was eliminating fraud, waste and abuse through eliminating information silos, he said. And it's exactly that idea. And this is always the language which is used. It's going to make life better. It's going to make it more efficient. It's going to be easier. And of course, there are some instances when that is true. And if data is collected in an ethical, transparent way which protects the privacy of the individual users, that can be the case. But this is not that. There are no protections in there. There are no ethical guidelines that we can see. None of this is being done with people's consent or even their knowledge. It's going to be used in opaque and unaccountable ways that it's not just, it could be used to target critics, it could be used to target protesters. We can already see that people are being literally rounded up off the streets with regards to, whether they've attended protests or similar. So there's the targeting of people because the government doesn't agree with their views. But it could also be used to deny people from the services which they're entitled to deny them from welfare or from Medicaid, or because it's the idea that a beautiful computer is going to be all-knowing and all-seeing and is going to be able to make these decisions without any human intervention.
We should point out the 10 Democratic lawmakers sent a letter to Palantir on Monday asking that the tech company answer questions about its expanding federal contracts with the Trump administration, and that the New York Times reported recently that Palantir began helping immigration and customs enforcement officials and removal operations. So I wonder, this is not necessarily just a case of ones and zeros attached to my name, that this can actually have consequences in our real 3D world.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing to remember, is that it's the idea, all of these AI, they're using this to train AIs, which are going to create these algorithms, which are going to be making life and death decisions about, ordinary people with ordinary problems who are going to have no way of challenging the computer. The computer says no, and that's it. And I think that, focusing on those real world consequences is really, really vital. But also realising that it can easily get things wrong. If you have the same name as somebody who's on a terrorist watch list and you get targeted because of that, we know that's already happened to people after 9/11. So think of that on steroids. If you've got the same name as somebody who once attended a Palestinian protest rally, these algorithms are very far from infallible. And we know if you use ChatGPT, it hallucinates things which aren't even there. So it's not an all-seeing, all-knowledgeable eye. It's a very, very fallible machine that, as I say, could be making decisions that directly impact people's lives.
In response to the New York Times reporting,